Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Scully and Bob Spitz coming to you
Hello.
live from Drive. And today we have Kelsey Lancaster from Performance Automotive Repair. How are you doing today,
Hello.
Kelsey?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Good. You caught me typing.
Bob's preoccupied.
All right. So let's talk first about your story a little bit, Kelsey. I know that you've been with Drive for a while. You're masters of shop management. And I also know that you have a really big purpose for helping other shop owners. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So Brandon has been in the industry and I apologize that Brandon's not here with us. I know you all were really excited to see him, but he had to run home and get a part and a tool at our house. So It's just part of living in the country. So Brandon has been in the industry for a little over 30 years now. And about 8 years ago, he was really frustrated with the shops he had been working at and just decided to go out on his own. So he quit his job, went fishing for 3 days, and then opened up a shop at our house.
Very therapeutic.
Yes, it was. He needed it. 3 months later, we moved into the building. He moved into the building that we're in now in Bayfield, which is a little bedroom community about 20 miles east of Durango, which most people know Durango, but Bayfield is not very well known. And from there, it just kind of exploded. He had the shop open for about a year and a half when we were invited to go to the then Management Success, but what is now the Drive Expo. And we participated in they used to have the weekend like essentials short class. It was a very quick 2-day class about essentials of shop management. Mm-hmm. And I was invited to go. I had no desire to be in the industry at all. I had a job at a bank and I had been there for many years and was very happy. And so Brandon and I took 3 or 4 days and went to California and just were mesmerized by everything that was being offered. We watched the awards ceremony. We watched, actually the friend of ours that invited us to go with him was receiving an award that night. And it was just really catching. It really made sense to do what we're doing. You know, so many technicians are unhappy in the shop that they're working in. They think I can quit my job and I can start my own shop and I can make more money, and you can, but you don't know how to run a business. And that's where Drive really comes in and really helped us. I was scared to death when Brandon decided he wanted to just go out on his own. I'm the kind of person, I need a regular paycheck. I need to know I have my bills paid. And then he's wanting to start a business and I don't know how to run a business. So we signed up with Drive, and that was almost 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago. And we haven't looked back since. It has just been the best thing that has really happened to our business. One of the first things that Brandon was told is hire a service advisor. So he started looking, and mind you, I was still not working in the business. Mm-hmm. He started advertising, looking for a service advisor, brought is our current service advisor in. He brought her in for 3 separate interviews. He interviewed, well, let me think about it. I'll call you tomorrow. And he calls her and come back and let's do it again. And finally he says, okay, I would like to hire you. So Stephanie started with us. And then 3 days later, we left for California for the first part of Essentials of Shop Management and just left Stephanie here by herself.
Trial by fire.
Yeah. And apparently it worked because she's been with us almost 7 years this fall.
Yeah, she wasn't gone when you got back.
No, she thought about it, but she wasn't.
Well, that's a keeper for sure.
Yes. We're very, very fortunate. With the whole team we have is amazing. We just, at that moment, you know, when we first started with Drive and taking all of the workshops and getting to know other shop owners, it just really solidified what Brandon wanted to do. And like I said, it just exploded from there. So we are masters of shop management, as you said. We earned that in 2019, I believe.
Right before everything shut down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then we joined the top 20 group. We were actually invited when we earned our masters. We were invited to meet with the top 20 and decided it wasn't quite the right time for us. Then a couple of years ago, we're invited again and joined the top 20 group. And that has been an amazing experience.
Yeah, what a
Our
great
top
group of
20
people,
group
huh?
is, I don't even know how we function without them. It's just a wonderful group of people. We love meeting with them every week. We actually even, our little top 20 group, the Magnificent Seven, we took it upon ourselves to go to Pittsburgh this last weekend because Chuck's trip, when the top 20 does their semi-annual trips where they go to different shops twice a year. Well, Chuck's got canceled, the in-person one, because of COVID.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
Chuck really, he got the experience of people touring, but it was all digital and virtual. So we wanted to go. So we took it upon ourselves, and most of us traveled to Pittsburgh this last weekend and met with Chuck and well, I guess it was this last weekend. Met with Chuck and got to tour his town, got to tour his shop, had a great time. So
That's
the
great.
top 20 has been another amazing part of our drive experience.
Kelsey, for our audience who may not be that familiar with the top 20, talk about how it works and working with other shop owners and how that whole experience, how does
And
that
who's in it?
function? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
bet.
What are the shops that are in it?
You bet. So it's an invitation only. I believe, I'm pretty confident that you have to be a certified master level to be invited into it, or very close to becoming a master to be invited into it. And it's called the top 20, but there's probably about 24, 25 shops, something like that, that's involved. And every week, instead of having a call with our business advisor, Carla, every week, we have a Zoom call with our little top 20 group. So those 24 shops, let's say, are divided into 4 smaller subgroups. Ours is called the Magnificent Seven. And believe me, we are magnificent.
I'm sure you are.
There are 7 shops in our group. We have A&M Automotive in California. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
Essential, and he is in Canada. Rich is in Canada. We have Fenske's Auto. He is in Georgia. Galveston Automotive Professionals is in Galveston, obviously. Antonelli's is in Grand Junction, which is in Colorado. And so Dan's shop is about 3.5 hours north of ours on the western slope of Colorado. And then Baum Boulevard is in Pittsburgh. That's Chuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got all of us.
Awesome.
So we have a regular weekly meeting with our top 20 group. We share all of our KPIs. We write a weekly plan that we share with all of our group. And then we have a focus every week. And so we focus on that one shop, and it rotates every 7 weeks or so where we become the focus. We discuss the ins and outs of what's going on in that shop. We do a deep dive into the KPIs, everything that's been going on, both personally and professionally. And we do chat a little bit about all of the shops at every meeting, just because there may be something going on that we all want to talk about or have questions that the other ones can ask. So it's really great to get an opinion or the thought of your peers, people who are at the same level in their shop, in their understanding of their business as we are. Now, we have a whole gamut of people. There's a couple of shop owners that are heading close to retirement. And so about half of our group is very close to retirement, and then the rest of us are not. And so, those of us that are relatively new in the industry learn a ton from the people that have been in it for a very long time, have been running their business by themselves. Then the top 20, twice a year, we actually go to someone's shop and do a shop tour. So in April, we all went to Galveston and toured Galveston Automotive Professionals. The whole top 20 group, all 25-ish shops went there.
Wow.
And so there was about 40 plus people that invaded Galveston that weekend. And the shop owner, then they take us and they show us their town. They do tours, and we do all sorts of fun things. Sometimes we see another industry and tour a different industry to see how they do things and see if there's things we can take back to the automotive industry with us. But then we have a 1.5 day meeting where we sit down, we go through everything at that particular location, and they take all of the information and really digest it and decide, okay, are there things I can do to better my program? this fall, we're going to Montrose, Colorado, which is about 2.5 hours north of us, to go to Diamond G Automotive.
All right, sure. Diamond
Great.
G is there. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about helping other shops, because I know that you guys recently actually went to somebody else's shop to help them out when they were in need. Talk about that. Why do you do that kind of thing? What is it about that you like to do?
There is just a warm, amazing feeling knowing that you help someone, whether it's in your community. And this is our community. We are all across the country, but our top 20 group is our community as well. So number one, one of our shop buddies, Galveston, was really struggling with getting their digital inspections going in their shop. They had it for a while, and they just were having a very difficult time. And so Brandon and I called Lynn up and said, hey, what if we came next week? So this was back in December. Brandon and I flew to Galveston. John had no idea that we were coming. We just showed up Tuesday afternoon, and what are you guys doing here? And then Brandon and I spent the next 2.5 days helping them implement their digital inspections in their shop. So Brandon taught the technicians how to take the pictures, how to do the inspection digitally. I worked with the front about how the workflow works in Auto Vitals. We changed their inspection, we changed their processes, and it was amazing to see how receptive they were, their staff were, to us coming in and helping them. And their average repair order has increased at least $100, if not $150 since that process. And
That's great.
Everybody
That's
knows
fantastic.
in the automotive industry, programs that we use, the computer programs that we use, the companies are not the best about doing training. It's like, here's your program, you get a couple of hours of online training, and
Yeah, good
to
luck.
you.
That's it. Yeah.
So that we were fortunate enough to have been on the Auto Vitals for a number of years. And so we just decided this is what we're going to do. So we flew out to Texas. So the next thing that we did was, while we were at our top 20 meeting in Galveston, it was shared with all of us that one of our fellow shop owners was really struggling with finding technicians. He had one technician, and that one technician was on vacation the first week of May, which was the week following our trip to Galveston. He didn't know what he was going to do. He wasn't able to go into the shop and work. He had no one else to cover. He was thinking about shutting his shop down for the week that his technician was on vacation, which means no incoming calls, no scheduling appointments. He just didn't know what to do. So the group of us talked, and we basically came up with if anyone has the ability to go help this shop owner, we need to do whatever we can to help. So we get back here, we talk with one of our technicians, Brandon and Tony, one of our solid technicians who's been with us for a while. They flew to this shop and worked for this shop for an entire week. We didn't charge him anything. We covered all of the expenses of the flights, the hotel, everything, the meals, and we paid our technician also to be there. And Brandon and Tony billed. They sold, I believe it was $23,000 worth of work. The service advisor did, and Brandon and Tony did that work. Now, at the same time, this shop owner had actually hired 2 C technicians. And so we had these 2 new guys coming in, and they had no clue what to do, but his technician was on vacation. So Brandon and Tony also kind of took these 2 guys under their wing and helped them and taught them and showed them how to do the inspections a little bit differently. And so that was a really amazing experience for Tony and Brandon too. On a side note, kind of along the same lines, when we all decided the top 20 as a group, if we could help this shop owner, we needed to. John Eanes from Galveston Automotive Professionals went a couple of weeks after Brandon and Tony were there, and John spent the week more perfecting their inspections, their processes, looking at things, kind of doing more observation, and just overall helping out that particular shop. And he's now doing much better. He just was feeling very very lost, had no
Sure.
idea what to do. And so that's what the top 20 is all about. I am confident if we were in a situation of dire straits where we had we didn't have a plan, we didn't know a direction to go, and we just were really struggling, that my top 20 group would step up and would help me and do whatever they could do for us. I really know that that would happen.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
hats off to you. And, you know, when we started the 20 group program, that was one of the intentions, to nurture and develop that kind of culture, the culture of help. And speaking of 20 groups, I think Dennis is on from Dynam G, if you want to say hi to him.
Hi, Dennis. I just talked to Dennis yesterday and the day before.
Well,
So-
well done.
I guess, listening to your story brings up another question that I'm sure many of our viewers will have, which is, how is it that how does it feel to be able to leave the shop whenever you need to, like that? Because a lot of shop owners, especially when they first start out with Drive, it's hard for them to even envision that possibility.
Mhm.
And you've been through the journey.
Well, they
So
envision it before they actually start the business.
they just don't think it's real.
But once they start, they go, whoa.
I have to work 75 hours a day. It's
Yeah, right.
unbelievable. It's ridiculous. It's a pretty amazing place that we have here. We know, and because we can go at the drop of a hat, we can just leave and do whatever we need to do. So a lot of times there's forward planning, and our staff knows that we're going to be gone, but our team here is phenomenal. We are just very, very blessed with the people that work with us. We have 2 service advisors in the front that handle everything in the front. We get very few calls when we are not here in the shop. We have no qualms whatsoever about leaving our shop. We have no plans to be absentee owners. We've tried that. It did not work. It blew up in our face. It was a very challenging 3 or 6 months that we had. So we're here. We're here for the day-to-day. We manage everything, but that's because we love it. We want to be here.
Sure.
But I know that if that was the path we wanted to go down, we could figure out how to make that work.
Right.
We just have an amazing group of people that we even have 2 apprentices. So one of the things we decided our shop was going to be a number of years ago was we're a teaching shop. Everyone knows in this industry, you either find your unicorn and you bring that person in, which is really, really difficult to do, or you build your own unicorn. And that's what we have decided to do. So we have 2 different apprentices. One's been here for 3 years. One's been here for almost 2. And they're both working their way up to technician status. And it's an amazing feeling, not only that we can go help other shops and we can go visit other shops, but that we can help the people in our community, in our area, and those who want to learn how to work on cars, we can help facilitate that.
Yeah, that's great. You're giving these guys a career,
Yeah, it's
not just a
fantastic.
job. That's
Mhm.
that's amazing.
Yeah, giving them
Now-
purpose.
You mentioned earlier that when you started with Drive, you weren't working in the shop. So how did that little transition happen? I say little, and I know it wasn't, but
I was I wasn't working in the shop initially. I was, doing the books. I was entering things into QuickBooks, and then I said, no, I can't do this anymore. So Brandon had to figure all of that out on his own. But after working at a bank that I had worked at for 20 years, I just decided it was time to leave. And so I called Brandon up one day and I said, I'm quitting and I'm going to come work with you. So you've got 6 months to get ready. During that 6-month period, I heard more people say, oh, I could never work with my spouse. I just don't know how you're going to do it. And it's amazing because his strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa.
Oh, that's great.
We work.
So you complement each other well.
Yes, we work very well together. We are together almost 24 hours a day. And I know that that's challenging for a lot of couples. They would not be able to do that, but we're blessed that we can.
Yeah.
I came in and I took over human resources, accounts payable, marketing, basically anything Brandon doesn't want to do, I do. But I
you're
also
okay
That
with
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works, right?
It does. It works great.
Yeah.
So I just am really thankful that I had the opportunity to leave where I had been for so long. And I did love my job. I was very, very happy there for the, for the longest period of time. But I love it here even more. We laugh every day. We have a great time. We do trainings here. We have recently started bringing in live training to our shop to teach our technicians, and we invite other shops to come into our shop and participate in the trainings as well.
Yeah,
So
that's a great thing to do.
That's great.
It's been wonderful. I can't send all 6 of my guys, my 4 technicians, my 2 apprentices, and I have a production supervisor. I can't send all 7 of them to a 3-day training for $12,000. That's what it cost me to bring somebody in. So I'd rather bring them in, shut the shop down for a couple of days, do some training, bring other shop owners and technicians in, share the love in our area. And it just makes so much more sense financially. It makes more sense time-wise. They don't have to give up extra time away from their family. They're here with us. During the trainings, we actually met 2 shop owners. One had already been with Drive, for he had signed up with Drive a couple of months prior. And then another shop owner who came to our most recent training, who just recently signed up with Drive. And so we were actually out at one of their shops yesterday, just visiting, checking on them. So in our little area, our county has 55,000 people. We have 5 shops that are with Drive.
Wow.
That's great.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, you can all help each other and work together. Now,
Because
before
that's
we
really-
run out,
go ahead.
of town, you did something very special with your crew that got you written up in one of the trade magazines. I saw an article come out.
Well, we did the trainings, bringing the people in here. We do a lot of things with our crew. We do a staff meeting every week where we provide lunch, which typically is a home cooked lunch. Brandon is an amazing cook, so he makes lunch for everybody. We do production bonuses every week, depending on where our sales are and the tech hours. So we give out bonuses that way. We do customer appreciation, but that's not staff related. What are you talking about, Bob? I can't remember.
Well, I'm trying to recall the article now, but I saw you and I read it. You were written up in one of the trade mags, I think maybe Shop Owner Magazine.
Yeah, and I think it was about the training.
Yeah.
Just
I was
taking
about
care
to.
of
You're
your
right. It was
staff,
about
Yeah,
the
it was.
training.
treating your staff well, your team well.
Right.
Really, because we become a family, and we want them to know that they're appreciated. I hope that they all know that they're appreciated. We do free lunch Fridays. If we hit our sales goal the week before, we take everybody to lunch on Friday. We've done barbecues out at our house. We've had Easter egg hunts out at our house.
That's
Christmas
great.
parties at our house. And
Uh-huh.
so we try to keep it fun. I try to do something 3 or 4 times a year and involve people's families. So like the Easter egg hunt is everybody and their families invited. One of our techs he brings his nephew and his brother and sister-in-law. And, we have a really good time together.
That's
because
great.
we really have a great team.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
It is. It's awesome. And it's a great way to cut down churn of employees.
Mhm.
Is to
Absolutely.
create that culture and that family feel that they
Definitely.
can't get at a dealership. This is not possible.
Definitely not. Even in a lot of independent shops, it's not possible.
No,
You have
that's
to work
complete-
for it.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
easy.
and it starts with the owner, and you have to have that as your vision for your shop, and it's clear that you do. One last question before we go. What's in the future for you guys?
I don't want to say status quo, but we are very happy with how things are going in our shop. We are hoping to physically add on to our building, not necessarily so we can add staff, but so that our guys can be more efficient.
Mhm.
Right now we have 3 technicians on 4 lifts, and it's pretty challenging.
That's challenging.
Yes. So no huge expansion plans, no plans to own another shop. That ain't happening. One's good. Just continue doing what we're doing in helping our community, helping our young people who want to learn how to work on cars, who want to learn the industry, helping other shops keep doing what we're doing. And that's pretty much it. We don't have big pie in the sky ideas. We're just happy to be where we are.
No, that's great.
That's great.
That's absolutely excellent.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great talking with you. I feel like we could probably talk for another hour, but sadly we're out of time.
Yeah.
And for everybody tuning in, next week we have Jimmy Holman of Earhart's Collision and Automotive Service from Wenatchee, Washington. So we'll talk to him about his shop. They do
In the
both
collision business.
They do both general repair and collision, which is definitely a rather unusual combination. But everybody else, until then, have a great weekend. And
Yeah, and
we
if
will
you want
see
to
you
meet
next
Kelsey,
week.
come to the expo.
Yeah. I'll
Yes,
see you at the expo.
Definitely come to the expo.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So long,
Bye,
folks.
everybody.
Bye.